Hello, Mary.
Deborah, Debbie.
Thank you.
One of these days I'll remember first time.
That's okay.
How
I'm
are
getting used to Deborah. I think it must be my age.
you? Well, when I see it comes up as Deborah,
Yes.
so that's
Yeah.
why I always and I know you're that way in the Stampin' Up reports. That's why I always think Deborah first because I see that more often. How are you?
Yeah. I'm doing pretty good. How
Good.
about you? Are you all rested up from your trip there? And
Yeah, it was the travel was a little hard. It was easier on the way home, believe it or not, but yeah,
oh,
the travel was a little much for my back.
was
But plus, I've
oh
been doing physical therapy 3 days a week, and so that week I didn't have any. Um,
oh
but
no.
yeah, I came home on Sunday afternoon and I didn't even unpack. I took a bath and put my pajamas on, laid on the couch for a little bit. I thought, I'm just going to lay in bed and take a nap while I slept. I do remember getting up twice, but I pretty much slept till the next morning.
Oh, well, you
Yeah.
must have
So I
needed it
was
then.
more tired than I realized. So,
Yeah. Oh.
story of my life, though. I'm always tired. I keep yawning now, and it's not the company. It's me.
Oh.
It's a long day.
Ah, yeah.
So, well, oh, here's somebody else jumping on. There's Kathy. Kathy Jordan.
Okay.
Kathy.
Hello.
So I typed out all my notes for today. So
Oh,
everything
good. There's a lot going on there.
smoothly. Yeah, a lot of changes and things, and yeah, just a lot of stuff. So, and a lot of it is like, oh, I gotta remember to tell them this. Oh, do they know about that? And so I figure I better type it all out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just wait another minute or two. But and then I'm hoping at the end that the other people who came to on stage will
Uh-huh.
jump on, and I've asked them to just share, a little tidbit of something they learned or something that inspired them, and then also to share something they made with either one of the products we were given, or um, their prize patrol prize, something like that. So hopefully they'll be joining us. There's Len. Has anybody been watching basketball? I have to tell you my basketball story. I don't even follow basketball. The season's like 100 million years long, it feels like, but I really never follow basketball. Sometimes, Ohio State, but I don't follow it that much. But I always like watching March Madness. So
Uh,
my whole family, everybody was gone this weekend. So I was like, well, it could be a work weekend for me. So I was doing a lot of work, but then as I was taking a break, I'd watch March Madness. And then I'm like, well, I can take this upstairs with me and watch another game. And I ended up watching way too much basketball, but there were some really good games. But now I'm like, oh, they're down to the Sweet 16, but I don't even know when they play next. So,
oh,
um,
no.
yeah. So
I just heard that one team that nobody thought would win a game won the first game, their first round.
was that St. John's?
No, I can't, I don't remember the name of it because I'd never heard of it
Yeah, they
before,
because
but
that was a team I didn't really know, and people were talking about it at the end of the season. I was like, oh, so, and I know they lost their last game, so they didn't make it to the
yeah,
Sweet
yeah.
16.
They
Um,
really like the manager, or whatever, the student manager thing guy there or whatever.
okay.
He went viral. But,
And apparently there was a really good girls game last night. I want to say
oh,
Arkansas and Alabama or something. Like it was like literally down to the buzzer in double overtime. I was like, oh, that would have been a good one to see. But I
yeah.
just think with March Madness, there's always some fun games. some good upsets, things you aren't expecting. So for
Mhm.
somebody who doesn't follow basketball at all, I do like watching March Madness. Okay,
Mhm.
so let's get started. Hi, Tracy and Ruth. I saw Kathy pop on, and I know Len's watching.
Okay.
So I'm trying to be really organized here because I feel like there's just a whole lot of things coming at us at once. Um, and let's see, Kathy Dawes not on. Okay. Well, I'm going to say welcome to Kathy Dawes. She's a demonstrator I met a few years ago through another demonstrator who no longer is a demonstrator, and Tracy knows Kathy because we attended some crops in Amish country with Kathy and Joyce at the time. So, but Kathy decided to resign. She waited 90 days and now she um, has signed up with me. So that's exciting. Who is that?
Nice.
Jenny Graper, crazy girl in the back of the room. Hmm. Interesting.
I'm
The
sorry.
story there, but
There is. I'm
okay.
sorry. Mary, your hair looks beautiful.
I did it today.
It looks great.
So you didn't see me. And yeah, this happened at 3 o'clock, I think, maybe 4 o'clock. But thank you. But anyways, I'm very excited that Kathy Daw decided to join our group. She's a lovely woman, and I hope we all get to know her and each other much better um, as time goes on. Which leads me to I'm hoping to have an in-person event at my house, and it will likely be the same day as the Creativity Now. Um, that doesn't mean you have to stay and watch Creativity Now because last year it came on late in the day, but I thought that might be a good weekend. So I'm trying to finalize and make sure we don't have any family things that weekend. And there's Rita. Hello. So the first thing I want to mention is and this came out on stage about the ground shipping. We know that they've had this years long project of DPU, what is it? Digital Project Unification, I think. And one thing they told us was that they were going to have, um, we'd be able to have multiple orders shipped to one person. But when it was explained to us, each customer would then still have to pay. There's Kathy Daw, our newest member. Um, each customer would still have to pay the minimum $7.95 in shipping, even if they only ordered $20-$30 worth of product. But shipping to one central location, they said, well, that would be the case with shipping, that I guess the demonstrator would collect Stampin' Rewards from those. And many of the demonstrators, myself included, we were like, no, 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 that doesn't sound like a good thing for our customers. So they have decided to nix that and go back to the drawing board. I think, to say, oh, we're going to have 5 individual orders shipped to one person's house, you're all going to pay the minimum $7.95 shipping, but I'm going to collect rewards, or one person would collect Stampin' Rewards, really didn't make sense. And that really was not a good incentive for that to happen. I think the incentive, and I think they got it from what demonstrators are saying, the incentive needs to be within the shipping cost. So they have no timeline. I mean, they totally scrapped that plan and are going back to the drawing board. So there is no timeline specifically. They are hoping that by the end of this current Stampin' Up! Year, which would be September 30th, that they will have a solution to that. I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hoping that um, maybe they could do like the 11% shipping for everybody whose orders are going to one location. Because for many people, if they're purchasing $30 of product $7.95 is more than the 11% on that $30 of product. So I think that would benefit our customers. I think there would be more of a benefit for all of them to collect orders and send them to one friend's house or one club member's house, something like that. So just know that they are reworking that if you've heard anything. Because there's always, tidbits get thrown out there and then rumors start. Another rumor, and we have talked about this and talked about this and talked about this, and Stampin' Up! Has said it over and over and over for probably the last year and a half, 2 years. We are not getting rid of catalogs. Okay. They reiterated that again at Onstage. They are not, and in the leaders group, they are not getting rid of catalogs. So if you hear that, know that that is a rumor. That is not true. We will still have the annual catalog, the 2 minis, and do the online exclusives. Okay. And the kits each month. And if you think about it, really, most every retail business has gone that direction of opening an online store and having lots of product in there. And the online version gives them, I don't want to say more space. I don't know what's the right word, but it just leaves more opportunity for them to offer more products. Because even if our catalog was twice as big as it is now, it would still have a very specific limit of how much product they could include in there. Okay. It also, with having an online store, there's more flexibility in like, hey, this is product has been doing so well, we need to keep it around and continue ordering. Or if they don't want to, and here's a good example, Stampin' Right markers. We are still going to sell Stampin' Right markers, but you do not see them in the new annual catalog. They will be moved to the online store. That doesn't mean they're going to last chance list, anything like that. It's just, why not make room in the annual catalog for something more exciting, I'll say. So if you hear the rumor, I mean, it's been going around. We've talked about it here amongst us, but apparently that rumor is still out there, and Stampin' Up! Has assured us catalogs will stay. Okay. In some of this, there wasn't a way to organize all this information that to me made sense, because there's so many different things. One thing I mentioned, Creativity Now, that's in June. I believe it's the 21st, a Saturday. And that is for demonstrators. It's a virtual event for demonstrators. At Onstage, they mentioned they are going to have a new online virtual event. It's called the Virtual Album Retreat. It'll take place July 16th through the 18th. I was like, oh, good. I could have people over. Well, it's during the week. It's not a weekend. And I looked at the times today, 2 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Mountain Time. So you don't have to be present. I personally am not usually up till 12:30, or if I am, it's simply because I can't fall asleep. I'm not up doing things. But just know that with this, there will be a private Facebook group. And once the sessions are completed each day, they will stay up in that Facebook group as recordings. So you can view it afterwards or watch the replay. It is costly because it's about buying product and using product. And it's the month-by-month album retreat kit. Now, keep your socks on, but they have it listed for $250, which I was a little like, whoo. But I don't know what all that includes, other than in this retreat, you will complete 12 right? 12 layouts. So you'll have a layout for each month. And like I said, I don't know what product is included in that yet, but I would think for that amount, it would be a hefty amount of product. And you can start purchasing the retreat kit May 28th. So I'm sure there will be reminders and things that come out. The kit will be commissionable. Stampin' Rewards can be put towards the kit as well. And that virtual album retreat is open to both demonstrators and customers. Okay. So it might be a good time to get some of those scrapbookers making a large purchase or heading them in that direction. And maybe, we haven't done a lot with scrapbooking. It might be a good time to bring a whole new group of people in. So there is no registration for that. Simply when you buy the kit, they will send you information with a link to the private Facebook group where everything will take place. Okay. I'm excited about it. It's a first time event for them. I will participate, and I don't know if I'll participate those exact times, but I'll definitely watch the replay. And if anybody's interested, we can get together at my house like the following weekend or whatever to do that. I'm pretty flexible, and it's just more fun to have people and to craft together. I assume you've all seen the digital download of the new annual catalog. Those of us that were at on stage got ours there. Rita has hers. What do you think? I'm just going to say it like that. What do you think? Oh, Sharon's on. She's got one too. Marion's on. No thoughts about the catalog? Oh, come on.
I haven't seen it. I didn't download it.
Oh, Debbie. Oh,
I know. What am I doing?
I went through it really quick. I just haven't had time to really get into it.
Was there anything that stuck out to you or?
No, I'm more of a paper, so I'm waiting for my actual physical one. But
now, Tracy,
no, nothing really stuck out to me. I did like how they had all the little embellishments, all the little pictures of them on one page again. So I did like that. But I really didn't get a chance to really look at it. So
yeah. Tracy, you're shaking your head. No.
Unless when I get it, it's impressive. It was not impressive online at all.
Is it product that's not impressing you?
I felt like there wasn't much product. There were a lot of pictures. And yeah, no, I couldn't even tell you anything that I saw in it.
Okay. Jenny?
So, yeah.
Jenny Graber, your thoughts?
I'm kind of with Tracy on this. I think I might have checked off 3 things that I was interested in. I'm looking at my little book. Yep, 3 things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about this. As new things are added to the online store, are you seeing things there when they come up? That
yes,
impress you or not?
But I'm worried that I never know how long they're going to last. And when you have in-person classes, those online items make it difficult to know if it's going to be around when I want to use it in my class.
And I felt that way for a long time. I have to say, I started with this the new trial period of the new collaboration group. The trial period's over and they're revising it a little bit and the group is expanding. So I won't get into much detail, but one thing that came up in that was because it's like 1 or 2 people kind of head it and then they choose what product we're going to do the tutorials on and the videos on. And one thing that came up in there was somebody mentioned we need to do something from the current annual catalog for the next month. And myself
What's
and
your
a few
preference?
others were like, well, wait a second, because
What's your
that's going to
preference?
retire. So it's too close to that deadline. And some of us mentioned that we found there were a trend, it appears. I mean, I have no background, hidden information, secret info, but it appears to me and a few others in that group that some of those online products are sticking around a lot more, a much longer time than they did when they first started with the online. And almost to the point where I feel like at certain times of the year, we can depend on online products to be around a little longer than even a 4-month mini catalog. You know how that goes. Something's really popular and it sells out, and then I can't get it for 3 months or whatever. So I mean, it's definitely a concern, Tracy and others, but it remains to be seen how that really plays out, because I do feel like there has been a shift. So I'm curious with this new catalog and continued online exclusives, how that will go. Anybody else some thoughts on that?
I have some
Okay.
because I am an online exclusive person. I use that more than anything else. Most of my classes are online exclusives and stuff because I do think that they stick around. If you watch, they don't go on, the um, where they're unavailable. You don't
Mhm.
see that quite as much. So
Mhm.
I tend to pick them. I actually tend to think I even like the images in that a lot better a lot of the times. So I really check those out. But I wanted to go back to the thing of the catalog because I'm going to say I absolutely love this catalog.
Okay.
I absolutely love it. And some of the things that I love, and here's the difference. I have the catalog in my hand. I have this.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I think is going to be great, and I'm not saying this is just for beginners, this is for everybody. And they have icons in there, like on the adhesives, telling you what each adhesive is good for. There's an icon next to it, and there's a little thing that has the icons and says what they are. And then you look at the adhesives, and it tells you what they're good for. And they do that with the inks. They did that with the adhesives. They did that with something else, and I can't remember what. But anyway, they've got these icon things going on in here, and if you stop and you look at them, and then look at the pictures, and even me looking at the all the different adhesives we got, it's just a good reminder of what they can be used for. And I like that. I also like the idea of you know, the I mean the sweets and the bundles, of course, there's there's things there, but they have a page of the dies that they're keeping, a page of the punches that are current, the embossing folders. So we have all of that back. They listened to that. And, but I've gone through this catalog like 4 or 5 times. So, and I went through it page by page because I had a team meeting last night to really say what was in the catalog. And it does look like we don't have as much, but this catalog is like only 1 or 2 pages less than the other catalog,
Oh,
page wise.
okay. That's interesting, because
Page wise.
that's something I heard a lot of people saying
Because
when they
it didn't look as
catalog in
big.
their hands. Oh, it's so thin, but I never thought to even grab my other catalog and compare it page wise.
Okay, from page to page, actually, this is the old catalog. So here's page 144. So this would be 145. Theirs is numbered all the way, and it's actually the same. There's page 145 is the back of the cover, the inside back of the cover. So it's the same page number. of stuff. So I really dissected the catalog more or less to see um what was in it, why it looks less to me in stamping stuff. There is how many um pages of, where did I have it? I'm looking at my list, but anyway, I can't find, oh, it's up here. There's 7, 8, 14, 8, 14, 22 pages of scrapbooking stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so now you take that, and I'm not knocking scrapbooking stuff. I'm really glad it's in there. But that's not showing stamp sets and stuff. That's not utilizing the stamp set. It's showcasing more of the scrapbooking. So I just wanted to throw that out there too.
That's a good point that I had not thought about. I mean, I knew
Mhm.
that it's in there, but I haven't
Yeah.
thought
I didn't
about
realize how much it was
basic
until I
stuff.
was writing everything down and what pages it was on.
Mhm.
And like I said, I really, really, really tried to because I heard people saying it's not as big. Well, I went page number, it's the same,
Mhm.
and stuff. So I think it's because we have the scrapbooking, which shows the pages, and we as stampers firsthand usually are looking for stamp sets,
Mhm.
and so you're not seeing all that. That's
That's
just my opinion, guys. That's just my opinion, but I wanted to
That's a
bring it
good
out there
point.
because I'm going to be positive Patty on this. And
We're gonna have to rename you.
Yeah.
positive Patty, but I have really dissected the catalog and went through it
It sounds
because
like it.
I wanted to try to make my team to be really, really positive on this.
Mhm.
I heard so much negativity on the last one, and I'll be honest, I didn't care for the last one, but I grew with it and
Yeah.
could find things. This
Right.
one I think is so much easier.
Mhm.
So once you get your catalog in your hand, I'm anxious to see what you say about it then, because I do think catalog in hand is much different.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the online version, it seems like most of it is in black and white, the writing, and it's a little bit bigger. It was a little bit easier to read, but I could
Mhm.
only go to page 125 on the
Oh,
online digital catalog.
Okay. And
I
I
haven't
didn't
been able to
even,
bring up the rest.
I didn't
that's
look at it because I had this, so I just didn't go in
Yeah,
and download it.
same for
Um,
me. I never went to it
I
because
might,
I had
I think
those.
I'll have to go look and check that out
Yeah.
too.
It's
Yeah.
probably my computer, but
Well,
I did like the idea that it's more black writing than it was pink and light green and yellow, because
Yes.
people
yeah,
my age can't read it.
I agree
it,
with you. I
Mhm.
think I agree. Last year I was not happy with the catalog, but I wanted to be very careful how I presented that to my customers. I never want to lie to them. Um, but at the same point, there's always something good in it.
Yes,
There's always
but I
something
had two
good
catalogs returned
wanting.
because they couldn't see it, so they thought it wouldn't be something they wanted to keep. And
Yeah,
that was sad.
that was sad. That was sad. I remember you telling me about that.
Wow.
But
it-
I am grateful that they listened. There was a lot of criticism thrown at them after last year's catalog was released, and even when I understood um, the reasoning behind how it was laid out, I still felt, and I appreciate them saying that because I didn't understand, this whole thing about different experiences and different types of crafting and crafters. But it didn't make up for the fact that we as demonstrators and even customers were missing some very vital things that we look at as resources, not as just using up pages. So I'm glad that they listened and they brought back like the sections of DSP and punches and those groupings. The index is better, the print is better, the type is better. Um, it's easily readable. Um, last year I felt like too, like there were a lot of hidden things on pages. Like we couldn't find things and somebody would talk about something. Tracy's always into the embossing folders. And that's never my go-to. So she said something about the swirly embossing folder or the wavy one or something. I was like, well, where was that? And sure enough, it was one of those things kind of hidden on a page. The other thing is products we had that they showed in the catalog in a photo, but there was no ordering information, like Wink of Stella. I mean, they said that at on stage. We heard you. Wink of Stella is very clear. All the information is there. So I do appreciate that. Yes, I think again, it's a matter of us getting used to something new because they brought in that whole scrapbooking section that we are not used to having in there. And so, yes, it has taken up space for stamp sets and things like that. One thing I do like too is throughout, and I'm just giving one example on this spread, they talk about blending. So I feel like going through this, I can look at this and think, okay, blending, that's something that, have I done this with my customers? Have I shown them how to use blender pens? It's all on one page, but it's out there for me and you almost as, and our customers, as here are options to add to your creating experience. Does that make sense?
Another thing, Mary, I liked about it, there's 4 pages in there that you can engage yourself in.
Yes.
Do you know?
Yeah.
There's 4 pages that you can, and what it is Stampin' Up has a list of something about, I don't even know how they worded it. I can look because I know what page it's on. Find your reason to craft, and they have some reasons there, and then it says write your own down. They have a page where they did color combinations, and it says make your own color combinations, and it has little blocks for you to do it. There's one with all these different colors, and it's a card made in like purples, browns, yellows, oranges, I don't know, all different colors. And it's like what's your personality in colors, and it just kind of engages you into the book more. Like, what color is it I really like? What is in there, and stuff like that. But there's actually 4 pages of that. So, and I thought that was different.
When you brought that up, I had like a light bulb moment because when I saw those pages, I was like, oh, I'll have to go back to those and, maybe fill some out myself. But as soon as you said that, I thought, why couldn't I do that with customers? Why can't I say when it goes live, turn to page whatever, 38, and let's talk about color combinations. What are some of your favorite color combinations? Things like that. So it gives us another reason to talk.
It's just it's for engagement. That's what it's for.
And anything out there in social media world, marketing, it's always about engagement. I was laying on the table at the PTs the other day and I could see into their office and they had a whiteboard up there and it said relationship building. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it even happens here at physical therapy group. That's kind of their focus right now, making sure that when that their work goes beyond just treating physical ailments, but they're building relationships with people. If they have a need for PT in the future, those people will come back, that they will refer them because they've taken the time to get to know patients and interact with them. And so it made me start kind of listening to conversations other PTs were having with other clients. And I was amazed, like, oh, how was your granddaughter's birthday this weekend? Like, what? And not me, to somebody else. I was like, she remembered that he was going to his granddaughter's birthday party. now, how did you have a good time on your trip? Or what month is your wedding, your daughter's wedding? Things like that. And people were genuinely just having conversations. I suppose it makes the PT go better because I'm always thinking like, how many do I have to do? Um, but that kind of conversation,
Mhm.
makes me like them, trust them. I feel like I know them and they know me, which means they care about me. Um, and to think we're seeing that right in a printed catalog is pretty cool too, because we see it out in the workplace, out in our lives, in our neighborhoods, and um, the virtual world. But here we have something very hands-on. So um, I personally have not spent a lot of time in the catalog. My first thought going through it was that I like it. Um, I can't say I purchased everything on the pre-order. And there's always those things that you wish were on the pre-order so we could get them now. But there were definitely some products that stood out for me. The alphabet set, die set, and the banner dies. And then I can't think of what the right words. You know me, I'm a sucker for a good sentiment set. And then this one too stood out to me, but you know what? It didn't stand out to me until I really looked at the samples.
Oh, I love that set.
Um, and then one that I know I have to get just because I'm a grandma now, and different phases of your life, you see the world differently, you think of the world differently, but I can't find it right now. But it's the one with the zoo animals because Riley's loves the zoo.
There's little the cutesy zoo animals.
Yeah. So, so I hope that those of you that are feeling like, it's just, okay. Um, I hope that once you get the actual catalog in your hands and maybe have more time to go through it and think about it. For me too, a lot of times it's once I see people using new products, a lot of times that kind of triggers for me. Okay, I really do like that one, or I wasn't so sure about it, but I'd be willing to try it, that sort of thing. Or now that I've seen somebody use it, that seems like something my customers would like. So just keep an open mind, and maybe we'll revisit this in the future and see if Tracy and Jenny and others, I don't want to put you two on the spot, but I do appreciate you speaking up because that's what this is about. And we aren't going to love everything. We're not going to hate everything, but I'm interested to see how you feel once you have the actual catalog in your hands. Okay. With that, I'm going to say that the mailing selector ends March 31st. So we have a few days yet. And I did do a cost comparison. So if you choose the mailing selector, it is much cheaper. It's $4.50 to have Stampin' Up. That's what it costs you to have Stampin' Up send the catalog. That's your cost out the door per customer, $4.50. You can buy a package of 8 catalogs, which I believe is $14.50, but then to ship them, and depending on where they're going, anywhere from, I'd say maybe we could get away with $6. It's probably going to be closer to 8. Um, and even if you do the flat rate, the cost of that has gone up considerably. So I like the idea of sending them myself because I can put something more personal, something extra in there that they aren't going to get from the company. But it costs me double to do that. So and in the past, I've done it both ways. The last few years, I've done the last couple years, I've done where I have them send the mini and I send the annual catalog. But this time I think I'm going with cost, and I'm going to save myself the time and money. But if you were just wondering about that, the most economical way is sending them through the mailing selector. Okay. You can certainly hand out catalogs. Many of you have in-person classes that happen every month. You know how many you need. Buy a couple extras, or buy an extra pack so you have some extras. Having an open house or some event where you can hand them out is always a good idea as well. And, every year this comes up, and I have struggled with this myself, and I know others have as well. Who do you give a catalog to? Do you give one to every person that asks? And I have always been give one to every person that asks. Now, I can't say I've always kept good track of have they purchased from me from that catalog, but I start paying more attention in the last year and a half, 2 years. And and we talked about this in a training group I'm in, and the solution I got from other people, which I think is what I'm going to do here on out, is with a new catalog, anybody who's placed an order with me in the last 6 months, they are on the list to get a catalog. Then I would say, in the past, I said, if you're not on that list, but you would like a catalog, I would love to earn your business. I would gladly send you one. And some people do ask for one and purchase with you. But over the last year, I feel like a lot of people have asked me for catalogs and not placed orders. So that becomes a loss in terms of business sense. So my solution now is, and I will send out a newsletter to my customers, and I've announced it on my Facebook Live last week, I believe. If they have not purchased from me in that time period, they have 2 options. They can purchase, and I say $50. I think that's reasonable for what we pay to have it sent. A $50 purchase, what we make on a $50 purchase, would cover the cost easily. If they want to do that, then I have extra catalogs I will mail them if they aren't on the mailing selector. If they don't want to do that, I'm going to direct them to, or give them the link so they can download it. Now, the downside of that is they won't be able to do that until the catalog goes live. So they'll have to choose. And I'm just going to explain with the cost of the catalogs. And a lot of people think we don't have to pay for catalogs, that the company gives them to us. And that's not the case. And I think it's okay for us to tell our customers or whoever is asking that we pay for the catalogs and we pay for the shipping. So, and I had people I asked last year, names that never seen or heard before, and said, do you have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that you're working with? No. Okay, does that mean you would like me to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator? I would love to earn your business. Oh, yes, I'll order from you. And then a year has gone by, almost a year with the annual catalog, and they haven't. And I don't mean to sound stingy, but there has to be some return on that investment of catalogs. So my solution that I got from these other people that I think is good is I'm more than happy to direct you to the, the PDF, the digital version of the catalog when it's available on May 6th. And I'm going to leave it at that. Does anybody else have trouble with that? Who to give catalogs to?
Hey, Mary, can you hear me? This is Pat.
Yes.
Yeah, my picture is little, so I'm not sure if I'm even talking. I wanted to, it didn't go big like they normally do. What I was going to say is, of course, I don't have a catalog because I didn't go to the event. So I did the download one, which I hated last year, absolutely hated. I got to tell you, it's better.
Yeah.
The download itself. So if you're giving people the link to the download, it's a good thing because that download is much better than it was the previous year.
Yeah, it's
I,
just,
I looked through the whole thing page by page and I was quite satisfied with it.
mhm.
So just, don't feel that it might not be, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good alternative for you.
And the other thing is they can always shop the online store.
Yeah.
Now, we
Yeah.
all have customers that are older.
Oh,
I'm almost to
oh my God, you're
We're
talking about
demonstrating.
me. You heard her,
not in our
lady.
80s,
She's
though.
talking about me. By God, I'm
No.
going to mute myself now.
I won't be there. I'll be there not too far away. But,
Hey, can't the customers also order a copy of the
Yes.
catalog, like a single copy?
Yes.
And so I don't know if that has changed or not, but I put on
No.
some of my
That's a good point. Let me add that here. And actually, I looked up the cost. I believe it was $4
Mhm.
for them to
Wow.
purchase an annual catalog.
And then I would include in my emails the
That's a
item
good
number
point.
and the cost. So, and then of course they're not going to just order the catalog, right? They may order some product too at the same time.
Right. Right.
Well, then they're gonna have to pay the shipping also on the catalog.
mhm.
So how
But
much is that
maybe
gonna
that
cost them?
will- But maybe that will incentivize them to actually place an order with you at
Mhm.
some point in the future, so they get the next one.
I
free.
just give mine away. I buy a case and I give them to my handful of
I think
people.
that's good, but I think when you don't have an in-person event or classes, like some of us, we're pretty much all online now, and some of you are all in person. So there are easy ways to do it both ways to serve both groups. And when I did in person, everybody that came to my events got one. And I have no problem. And when I started in Stampin' Up, I don't remember Tracy and Rita, you've been around with me the longest. Well, Jenny too. When I started with Stampin' Up, catalogs cost $10.
They were,
They
yeah.
bought them themselves, and they were a lot more expensive. They probably were twice as thick as they are now, heavier paper, and they were very expensive to purchase, to give away. And I was thinking, well, how can I ask? Because a lot of demonstrators did charge for them, did charge the $10. And they've revised, and eventually the cost went to $5 or something. But I remember thinking at the time, why would I have somebody pay for a catalog if I want them ultimately to order from that catalog from me? And so I was always of the, just give it away thought. But I think as you grow, and somebody might place an order with you this year, but not the previous year. Like, do you always give those same people a catalog? I think there just comes a point where it becomes an economic thing. If all my people were in person, I would be giving them away. And I'm still giving them away, but I'm giving them away to people who have made a choice to use me as their demonstrator. Does that make sense, Marion?
Yes.
So I'm not against giving them away, and I'm not asking people to charge for them. But I do think at some point, and here's a perfect example. I had somebody who was an in-person customer when I still lived in Cincinnati. Since I moved here, she bought things occasionally. And then like 2+ years went by, and she didn't place an order at all, but she always asked me for a catalog. And so after, like the 5th time of her not ordering, I had to ask her, like, are you ordering from another demonstrator? I'm not trying to pressure you, but if you are working with another demonstrator, figuring, well, since I moved, she might be going with somebody else who lives close to her. And she said, well, no, I'm not. I just haven't been doing it. I said, okay, then I'll send it. And then after that, and I told her, well, this is my usual policy, but I'm going to send it to you again. And like 2 months later, she had an order for me. So we don't always know why they're purchasing or not purchasing from us. But I think when it comes to having a large group, we do have to look at the cost factor for us. And like I said, I don't mean to be mean. I'm not talking about not giving catalogs to customers of mine. I'm talking about not necessarily giving catalogs to people who have never done business with me or have never followed me or never attended an event, something like that. Okay.
This comes from when I was with the Angel Company, and you know how long that's been because that's how we met. I was with the Angel Company, you were with Stampin' Up. So I'm just talking eons ago. She was one of the top demonstrators there, and she did a presentation at our convention, and she said something that has always stuck to me. But I think this applies to where you are in your business, because as you grow and have more people, it's not economical to give everybody a catalog. I'm a business builder now, but I'm still just starting out in a way, but she said, I give my catalogs away because I don't expect Target to charge me to walk into their store, and this catalog is my store.
Mm-hmm.
And that made sense. But when you're starting out, that's easy to do. I do both. I still give quite a bit of catalogs away, but I'm in person, so I give them to those, that need it. And, I look over the people that have ordered from me, but haven't ordered in a while. And like you said, I don't know the reason, so I still send them because I use the mailing selector, plus I give away in person. So I do both. But I always go back to what Yuki said about that being her store. And so I think about that, Rita, you're building your business. You want them to come into your store. So I'm still like I'm halfway. I'm halfway to doing what you're doing, but I think it's in your business. You have many more customers than I do. You have a bigger base. You have a bigger mailing base. So you do have to look at it that way because you would spend tons and tons and tons of money mailing. And I think it's where we're at in our business and what we're trying to build on what we need to do. And I just wanted to say, because the catalogs are $14.50 for 8. I didn't do the math. I can't do that in my head. I'm too used to calculators. So anyway, and I'm old.
We'll
So
round it up to $2.
so anyway, I just think sometimes it is best to invite the person into the store for free. And then sometimes, if you have people, like you said, you want to know, why are people still wanting catalogs from you, but they never ever order? Because I've had that too, because I've been a demonstrator long enough, just not always as a business person. So I think too, we ought to just really look at what stage we are in and what outcome do we want from that.
I agree with you that it is our storefront.
It is. It's our store. That is, and that's how you need to look at it. You need to look at that catalog and say, that is my storefront. Although I've been trying to pull everybody to more online because I love the online exclusives. So I'm like, you need to go see online exclusives. You need to go do this. You need to go do that. And so that's kind of helping too. So,
and I do think too, the big distinction is not just where we are in our business, but where our customers are. Are they in-person people that we see on a regular basis? Yes, hand them a catalog. Are they people who purchase from us on a regular basis online? Sure, give them a catalog. But it's the fine line comes when you get so many people asking you who have never done business with you, or they hear, well, my demonstrator gives them free. I don't have to pay for mine, because there are demonstrators that choose to
and I do think, I think
I've never felt good about that. One other thing I was going to mention, and Jenny, I know you've got a craft or vendor event coming up, right?
Right.
And that's a big thing too. You can Are you making stuff right now?
Yeah.
That's a big thing too at those types of events. You want to have them, but I also found that, people, if it's out on the table, people will walk away with it. They will grab anything they can and walk away with it, and you may never hear from them, or they may never give you any information that they can that you could follow up with them. So I
Right.
think a good rule of thumb for you or anybody else doing events like that is to start up a discussion, maybe have one on display, or maybe have one in your hands when you approach them and you're talking to them. And you can kind of gauge how interested they are or are not. But just to
Right.
say, here, would you like a catalog? Would you like a catalog? Would you like a catalog? You could give away 100, but
Right.
that doesn't mean any of those people will get in touch with you. So I also would encourage you with that. Make sure you have their contact information. And you can ask them that. You sound like you're very interested. Would you like to be on my email list? And, they'll tell you yes or no. And you can
Mhm.
decide from there, is this somebody you want to hand a catalog to? So.
Yep. And I do think, to Rita's point about I'm inviting you into my Target store, I think we're becoming less and less with all of the online exclusives, less and less of a store via the catalog. I think it's becoming more and more online.
Yes.
I mean, I think I don't know because I don't shop other paper crafting companies very much. A couple things, pickleball things that we don't have. But but I don't think that any of those companies have catalogs.
Yeah.
No. Most of them don't. They're strictly online. And and they say, that everybody says we're going online because we want to get the younger crowd, because that's how younger people could care less about a piece of paper in their hand. It's about the phone or the whatever's in their hand that they can look up something quick. And that's why they've gone to it. But all these other companies that have gone, they are strictly, used to be, you could get paper catalogs from some of them,
Mhm.
That's not the case anymore. And some of them are doing really, really good businesses.
Mhm. I
So,
think it definitely has changed.
It-
When we started, Tracy, Jenny, Rita, and I, when we started all those years ago, well, Kathy, you've been around a long time too. Marion, you've been around a long time too.
And Sharon has
5
too.
years? 5 years? Yeah,
7.
Sharon walked the stage for 5 years.
no,
But
Sharon was 10. Sharon and I were
10.
10.
oh, that's right. Sharon and you walked for 10. Marion, are you 5? 7. No,
She's
I'm
7.
mixed up. You're 7.
She's 7.
Okay. But my point is that catalog used to be our only storefront. Now we have the catalog and we have the online store. So, that makes a difference as well. And the demographics of how business is done in our society today is also different. So,
Can I take 1 minute to share something with you?
Sure.
I had a card class, the Ocean Friends card class, and I had a newish stamper who's been to one of my classes before. She sent me a text message. She said, Jenny, I had to share this with you. It was my 11-year-old granddaughter's birthday, and I gave her one of my crab birthday cards along with her gift. My daughter just sent me this message. It kind of made my day. Your card was on Corey's nightstand. I mentioned that you made it. She was incredulous. No way, she did not. I showed her the back, which has a handmade by. She just kept babbling about every little detail. That comment, well, that was the real present. So my reply, I said, I love this. Thank you so much. I love sharing what I do with others. And it's so wonderful to hear stories like this. Where does Corey live? Maybe we can make up a little card kit for her to make some cards.
mhm.
And she said, isn't that sweet? I knew you love hearing it. I'd love to do a little kit for her. What a fun idea. So that's something that's going to take some of my time. But if it ends up with an 11-year-old girl creating and crafting and maybe, getting into Stampin' Up! And buying some product or a kit or whatever, then, it might be worth it.
And it goes back to that relationship building and making the connections
Mhm.
and engaging with people. I love hearing stuff. I have like goosebumps.
I just had
I
a,
was so
Oh, and those are
excited
the
when I
kinds
woke
of
up to
things
that
that are
this
very
morning.
motivating.
I had a lady order from me today and I asked her if I could wait till April 1st to put it in. She said yes. I was glad. But anyway, what she ordered for is her two granddaughters come and make cards with her. So she's making them up their own little tote little thing. She's got these little totes and she's putting them each a bone folder and all kinds of stuff. So she ordered all that for me today
Fun.
because she wants them to have their own thing while they're there, mainly so they're not taking hers and, she's looking for them. But, and I thought, what a great idea. She's got the granddaughters are there, so she's starting to buy their own things so that they'll have them and stuff like that. So it was an $80 order.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Maybe I need to do that for Riley and those of us that are grandparents. We need to think about that. Anytime
Mhm.
she comes over and she says, color, color, color. And so we color a lot. And so I'll like send the picture off to the rest of the family, and everybody always is like, Stamper in training, like you're working on her. I'm like, no, that was not my intention, but oh, now it is.
Yeah.
I'll do
So
it.
that's neat. That's neat. And one of my customers, Tracy and maybe Ruth too, Vicky McDaniel. She sent me a picture one time. Her granddaughter wanted to watch Mary Nate videos and make cards along with me or color along with me or whatever. And that was kind of a cool thing. Okay, let's get back to business.
Hey,
'Cause-
Mary, a real quickie if you've got it. I
Yes.
honestly, by looking and listening and talking to people, I honestly think that my daughter's generation, she's older than your daughter's. My daughter's 52. But her generation, we seem to have missed the hobbyist gene. I don't know what it is, but it's just not there. I have it. My aunts had it. My daughter doesn't. But I've got an 11-year granddaughter that will do any hobby that comes her way, any kind of craft, any kind of, it's almost like we've jumped. It's almost like we've jumped one. But
Mhm.
those 11-year-olds, that's the future of the company.
Mhm.
I
It
agree
really and
with you on
truly
that.
is. So we need to maybe Stampin' Up needs to think of some way to make them feel really good because they do that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So it's just maybe something that they need to think about because I honestly think
Okay.
it is a thing. It
Yeah.
is a thing.
I do think the way we teach kids and introduce them to um, arts and hobbies and crafts and sports is very different than it used to be. I remember going to school in art class, everybody made the same thing.
Yeah.
And they hung all 30 of those things in the hallway, and all the projects looked the same. I think it's very different. It was different with my kids who are 33 and 28.
Yeah, I think that one of the other differences, Mary, as well, is our families, my families,
Put her yogurt in the fridge.
yeah, 1950s and 60s.
Didn't
Our
have a lid.
families lived in close proximity to each other. We
Mhm.
didn't have so much the thing now where children grow up and they move to Ohio or they grow, and you're in New Hampshire. We didn't have that kind of thing. So my grandmother and my aunts taught me a lot of crafts.
Mhm.
They don't get that anymore. I'm not there next to my granddaughter to teach her the crafts.
Yeah.
So I think that that's part of the change that has taken place.
Yeah.
But we should be able to address it in
Just
some way.
Thanks
Yeah.
for doing it.
And I do think that's something good, and Stampin' Up's probably already thought about it.
I agree.
but
I agree.
To hear stories like Jenny
Yeah.
just shared,
Mhm.
that will make us think we're not just serving the people that are our customers today.
That's right.
We're looking to serve people in the future. And who will those people be? So, yeah. Okay, one thing I do want to say about the new catalog, Cloud Cover is one of the 5 in colors.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There is a problem with the ink in the ink pad, and so they pulled that and the refill and the little Stampin' Spot, and therefore we can't purchase the bundle of 5 in colors. They discovered when they were doing samples for Onstage that the cloud cover ink was not showing up as it should be. I don't think they even showed it to us, did they? Or they didn't use it in their demonstrations, I should say.
I thought we had it on the tables when we made the
Oh, we
cards.
did, you're right.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you compare it to the paper, it's more gray.
Yes, the ink was more gray than the cards.
I don't want to interrupt, but I have to jump off. I have another meeting that just started.
Okay.
And
Thanks.
it's another thing of collaborating what we did at.
Okay, well, thanks
So-
for your input.
All right. Bye, guys. Good seeing everybody.
Bye.
So just so you all know, they've pulled that completely and they are working to redo that ink. Also, when it comes to white cardstock, I heard somebody say, oh, White Willow cardstock. They've changed the name of the white cardstock again. No, they haven't. We're going to have 2. So we'll still have a basic white, but White Willow is what they brought over from Close to My Heart. And it's not, White Willow is our name. I don't know what Close to My Heart's name was. I have compared them. Our basic white, I would say, is like a warmer white. And the White Willow is more of a cooler tone, maybe I don't want to say a blue hue to it, but it's just a cooler tone. So maybe next time we're on, I can show that. So I wanted to mention that. Also, when obviously cardstock is the big price increase, I really haven't seen many other price increases. I haven't gone through the catalog line by line to know, but that is the biggie and it's significant. Also with that, they told us we would only have thick white cardstock in the 12 by 12. Again, people got on, and they did say, I have to admire them for saying this. In the past, when demonstrators aren't happy, you know, there's a lot of backlash. They heard a lot of backlash last year with the catalog, and people just let it fly. They didn't care how they said it. And it was bad. We'll just put it that way. But they mentioned that when they made that announcement about the thick white cardstock, that they heard from many demonstrators, but they said it was in a very tactful way that they explained why they weren't happy with the decision. So they listened. It is back, 8.5 by 11 thick white. So we'll be able to get that. As I understand it, all of the white has already sold out. I suppose people like you and me stocked up on some of that white cardstock. So now it will be at the new price, unfortunately. There is nothing wrong with you purchasing cardstock at the current price, you know, the colors and stuff, and telling your customers, you know, I like to be honest with the customers. I'm not going to say, you know, oh, don't stock up on cardstock. You can wait. And it's going to cost them more later. No, give them a heads up. It's okay. Say if there are favorite colors you have that you use often and you want to stock up on those at the $11.50, is it $11.50, I think, instead of $14 in another 5 or 6 weeks. Good to do.
Hey, Mary, do you know if they've run out of the white cardstock that was in the 40 pack?
Yes.
The reason I asked is I got a small order today and it was a 24 pack.
Yes.
Instead of the 40 pack, and I thought I had ordered exactly the same thing.
Well, the sheets have gone down because I had it in my cart and it's already gone. And when I tried to order, it showed the new price and the smaller pack.
Yeah, well, that's what I got today, so I was kind of surprised.
It sold out pretty fast.
Well, I've got plenty of it. I could
Yeah,
probably
and that was
build
in
a
the
boat.
updates. So, and that's just the way it goes. unfortunately.
I must admit that my one grumpiness about the new catalog was the fact that I wish they'd have kept our regular cardstock in the 12x12.
Yeah,
That kind of, that's
It'll be
nothing else to
interesting
complain
to-
about really, but that one,
yeah. It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
I'm
with-
not a super fan of the other one,
two-tone.
the two-sided one.
Yeah. Okay, April sales challenge. I'm assuming you all have heard about that. If you didn't, please look for details in the updates. I believe that one was announced last week, but there's a page for it for you to find. But basically, you can earn this craft tote in strawberry slush. And it's dependent on your title. So if you're at bronze, you just need $300 in sales in April. Okay. So it's sort of like whatever your title is, your quarterly title amount is, that's what they're asking you to do in April to get that tote. Okay. And
I don't think so, Mary, because I'm a bronze elite, and they told the thing tells me 425 for the April challenge, but my normal quarterly is 300.
Well, no, everybody's quarterly minimum is 300. I didn't explain that well.
Okay, I misunderstood.
For a 12-month rolling sales, we have a certain number. So yours would be 1,800 for bronze elite. Divide that by the 4 quarters, and that's where you get the 450. Okay. So there is a chart with all that there. So you will find that as well. And also there is a tracker if you're a tracker kind of person. Okay. New rewards program. I was planning to go through that with you. Some of us took a really good class in that, ordering at OnStage. There were lots of slides, lots of information. They went through pretty much every scenario you can think of. However, when I went back to those slides, I thought, this is really confusing to people who've never seen anything. And they did tell us they would have a training video. They did tell us there would be like a training PDF. And because that's not out yet, I thought they might put it out to demonstrators to our group today, but they didn't. It wasn't in today's updates. I know the new program has gone live in the South Pacific, and I believe it was this week, maybe happening in Europe or next week. And then we are last. So I suppose that's why they haven't given us that information. But I think once we have that and you've been able to look at it, then we can go back in and talk about that and do a Q&A or whatever. Okay. But they did give us some important dates, which we've talked about. They have said, so for us in North America, it's April 13th, 14th, and 15th. They are saying on April 13th, they said, first of all, make sure that we are communicating to our customers they need an online account. Okay. And some of our people may need help setting up an online account, but they need to have an online account to get Stampin' Rewards. April 13th, they said, continue to work with your customers, finalize any workshop orders, host codes, and current Stampin' Rewards, including 50% off items. So you want to close all of that out. Okay. It says on April 14th, the OEX ordering, including workshops, customer orders, and host codes, will be permanently removed. Okay. Anything in modified status will be removed. So April 13th, think of 13th, unlucky. If you let things go beyond the 13th, you're going to lose it, or your customers will lose it. Okay. Then they said on April 15th, the website will be down for about 6 hours. They didn't tell us specifically what those hours were yet or are going to be. And then once that is completed and it goes back up, the new rewards program and ordering for customers will be up. Okay. I know last time we met, we talked about, when do we have to close out all these things and make sure to use our host rewards or whatever. They are saying April 13th. And because they are saying April 13th and things tend to go wrong on the last day of anything, I'm saying, how about April 11th or April 12th? Just to play it on the safe side, because then we have somebody to talk to if there is a problem. Okay. So for us, April 13th and 15th are the key dates. All right. Sharon and Marion, do you have anything to share from on stage?
I thought it was great, but it was my first one. So I had a lot of fun. I was disappointed that we didn't get any DSP paper. I thought for sure we might have gotten some in a prize patrol thing. Everybody would have got some, even if it would have been like a 6x6 combo of like all of them or something. So I was disappointed there. And I was really disappointed that I never saw some of the big demonstrators that you see. You never saw any of them wandering around to meet them or anything. And I was surprised about that. Now, maybe I just wasn't in the right place, but I wasn't in the VIP rooms. I'm just a happy stamper.
Yeah.
So I never saw any of them. I saw Karen Titus once walk through. Other than that, I never saw anybody.
I think in that instance, keep in mind that a lot of them, those top demonstrators that we watch and we've been following for years, have huge teams.
Right. And I know they did stuff on the
And-
side, like they rented ballrooms and they did
Right.
events with their team, but I still would have thought, like, even like going out and getting water, at the breaks or something, you might have seen somebody. Nobody.
I'll tell you in terms of, and I did drop into the VIP for leaders, the VIP room. There weren't I think who you would think. Well, throw out some names. Do you mind just throwing out some names? You
Well, I
mentioned
didn't
Karen
see,
Titus.
Erica Sherwin. I never saw her.
Saw her in there, but I didn't stay in there long either.
I
And
didn't
I
see
don't think most.
Rhonda Wade. I never saw
Yeah,
her.
I don't think most of them would hang out in there. They would be hanging out with their teams doing other things.
But I never even saw them anywhere. I'm not saying I was going to run up to them, but even like out in the auditorium and that, I never saw any of them anywhere.
I think it's in a situation like that, it's hit and miss, to be honest.
Yeah.
I also noticed
Didn't
there
they-
were a lot
Didn't they
of-
cross the stage for any kind of
Yeah,
achievements?
they crossed the stage and then they
Right.
disappeared. Honest to God, I
Oh.
thought they crossed the stage and went behind the stage. I'm
So
not
they were
kidding you.
there. They were there. You
they
just
were
never
there,
saw anybody.
but there were
They-
also a number of top demonstrators I noticed that weren't there. So why that is, I don't know. I know one had a family death, but there were a number of people that I would have expected to see there and they weren't there.
Yeah.
But I do think I understand, because sometimes it's, it is fun to meet the people.
It is fun to meet them.
and
Those are the people
following and
that you,
stuff. But I think a
Mm.
lot of them are in situations where they just, if they have so many team members coming, they are doing other things with them. They are,
but they're not doing anything with them when we're all in the grand
True.
ballroom.
true, but I don't know what to
Well,
tell you.
I was going to say, I don't know how many people are at that one, but I've been to ones in the past. I mean, when you're with 5,000 people, it's like finding a needle in a haystack.
I think this was like 2,500, which is a lot.
That's, I mean,
You think about too, the main stage rooms are dark. Who is this? Who is that, Marion?
Oh,
This is my darling little Sophia.
Sophia.
When she came to
Hi.
your house in the pumpkin seat,
I would say she's not little anymore.
She's gonna be 10 years old
Oh
next
my
week.
gosh, double digits,
Yeah.
Sophia.
She's
Wow.
my stamper though, aren't you?
There you go. Someday you'll
Yep.
be on Grandma's team, Stampin' Up team.
Mhm.
You think so?
Sorry, Tracy, go ahead. You mentioned the number of people.
Oh, just the number of people and stuff. It's like a needle in a haystack. I mean,
Mhm.
when we were all in the group, I mean, if we didn't say we were going to meet in a certain spot, like my chances of running into one of you probably would have been slim to none. And I even like know you specifically and would be able to pick you out easily and
Right.
stuff. So I think that's the biggest thing is it's just a lot of people and you know, you may have been in the same room and you didn't even notice that they were like on the other side of the room because there's so many people in there.
Yeah, I would agree. And I got home and I saw people posting pictures and stuff, and I'd be like, "Oh, I didn't see her." And then I would comment, I say, "I didn't see you either. I wondered if you were there." And it's people I talk to every event. Just different. Yeah. Well, maybe next time. That's reason to go next time, Marion.
Absolutely.
Did
But it
you
was
have
fun.
anything you wanted to share in terms of something you learned, or did you make anything with your
I like the catalog.
okay.
I'm dumbfounded what Rita said about all these different things that are on there because I have not examined it like that. I've just leafed through it, but I don't do like a business like she does.
Right.
But no, I mean, I'm disappointed with the paper and I had some heavy in my cart and I noticed today it said was taken out of my cart. So that means it's gone,
Oh,
the
good.
thick card stock. So,
Oh,
but
yeah.
no, I had a good time.
Good.
It
Well,
was
I
a
had
lot
a
of
good
walking.
time watching you experience it for the first time.
Yeah, it was fun. It
For
was a lot
me,
of fun.
that's always an exciting thing.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of people walking the stage for different things, and that
Mhm.
was fun, anniversaries, and to see people and they're right in our own group.
Yeah.
Sharon, I think you got off. She's showing up here, but I thought she had a message that
there.
said she got off.
No, she's on there.
I see her on, but I saw something in the chat earlier that she had to get off. She was having problems online.
Uh-oh,
She
somebody's
did say it was
somebody's
fun
abusing.
walking on stage.
Up on the cedar chair.
I want to check that out.
Yeah, sounds okay. Well, I did make something from, and I've only kind of been, I didn't even do it today, kind of teasing my customers with some new product. I didn't make a big deal of it because they gave us a really long pre-order time. And I'm not somebody that has to show it first. I'm just not. It's very expensive to overnight that stuff and expedite. In fact, my pre-order is supposed to be coming today, and I did it the day after I got home from on stage. It wasn't here when I went upstairs to check just before getting on, but I did make something, and I've just been doing little teasers for my customers. I'm not focusing on those products yet because I can't sell those products. They can't get them. And I think that leads to too much frustration. So, I showed the, I don't know what I did with it, but the stamp set we all got, I showed that to them. And this is a set of cards. It's sort of like a variation of the stamp or what do I want to say? Slice and shuffle. It's not coming to me, but that technique. And I used the 4 brighter colors and then that Secret Sea, the dark one. And then I put it on cloud cover. And then the background is actually misty moonlight. It doesn't look like that here on the screen. But that was one thing I did just to show them. And actually, I haven't shown this yet. I showed them the stamp set, but when it gets closer to the launch date of the catalog, I'll do this as one of my Facebook Lives or PDF or something.
What is the embossing folder that you
It's
used?
an old one,
Oh, okay.
not a brand new one. No.
Hey, Mary, does Stampin' Up send out some kind of a evaluation at the end of an event like this where you kind of give them suggestions for things you think might
Yes.
improve it? Yeah,
Yes.
I think that maybe what Marion was saying kind of rings with me too, because I'm a hobby stamper as well. I'm not a business stamper. But I think that we relate differently to these kinds of things. I never even considered going to this event because I just assumed it would be all business. Okay.
No.
So what I'm just thinking is that maybe they need to make sure that hobby stampers, who I think are a good number of people,
It's
might be
yeah.
interested in
Yeah.
this kind of a thing, but
Yeah.
we would have a different viewpoint. I've got a couple of here. You're always our number one, Mary, but I have a couple of
you.
people I'd like to meet that
Yeah.
I've seen over the years, and I think they're cool.
Well, I put it this way. Well, I'm glad I'm part of the cool club.
No, you're number one, number one.
But just so you know, going forward, on stage is for all demonstrators. Okay. And it will be once a year. Next year it's in March again in Long Beach, California.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Don't think so.
And then there's another event they do for demonstrators called Backstage, and that's for leaders, Silver Elite and above. And I'm hoping Rita will go with me this year. We'll
Cool.
see. And Jenny, you're pretty close to being Silver Elite again.
I have to sell a ton more product before I can do that.
It's
I have
not
the
impossible.
downline, but I just don't have the sales.
Yeah. But you might get more after your craft event. More customers. We're hoping good things for you.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. On stage is for all demonstrators, and then the backstage, which is November, is for leaders. And I will say, you made a good point about how many people are on, or about hobbyists, hobby demonstrators, happy shoppers, whatever you want to say. I think the percentage is like 80%. And I
They
think
said, they put the fact, they said there was 22,000 hobbyists
out of,
was one of the numbers that they put up there.
And you
And
think the percentage is somewhere around 80, Mary?
I think so. I don't know if it still is. At one time it was, but how many demonstrators did they say are in North America? 35,000. So, and if 22,000 are hobbyists,
Well, it's
that's
something for them to consider. I'm sure they do.
mhm.
So
and
isn't there a,
the on-stage event for all demonstrators there's some business in it, but it's predominantly product-based. All
Yeah.
the demonstrations are product-based, that sort of thing. Some of the breakout sessions are more businessy, how to get customers, whatever, how to build
Well, if you would just bring it to New England, I would go.
Okay, well, I'll put in a good word for you. And then on backstage for leaders is heavy onto business. So that's the difference. Okay. There's a lot that stood out, but one thing that I was in a breakout class, and it was on team building, and I was there with Sherry and Rita and gosh, Tammy, a few of us were in that. And they gave us time for some discussion with the questions and things. And one thing Rita said really stuck out. She said, when you think about it, all of us demonstrators, if we're building a business,
Pops down.
big or small, we all kind of have the same challenges, the same problem. I don't remember her words exactly, but what it came down to was, as demonstrators trying to grow a business, whether you're already up here or you're just starting or you're somewhere in the middle, we all need to get new customers. We all need to find people to join our team and help us build a group. We all struggle with getting people to participate. And I thought that was very insightful. And it's so true. You know, I have to work at getting new customers all the time, just like you all do who are trying to build a business. And the other thing that stuck out for me, and this is more businessy, but I think it can also be applied to just different things in life too. And this quote is, "It's not just about knowing, take action on what you've learned, practice it, and start now to turn it into success." And I printed it out and I'm going to post it up on my board here as a good reminder. In this other training group I'm in, and I had made friends with, well, I'll just say Jackie Bullheis. And when I first met her and we talked about this training we were both in, one thing she's way out there. She's, I mean, yeah, she's like #2 demonstrator in the world. Like, I'm nothing close to where she is. But one thing she said to me is, when you do all this training, don't just be a student. Take action on what you learned. And you don't have to take action on everything. And you don't have to know everything to take action. But taking action is going to be the thing that provides value or provides new sales or growth in your business, rather than just learning and knowing. And I'm one who has always, even as a student growing up, I'm always somebody who felt I had to know it all before I could do anything. And so this, and I've learned that that's not the case, but this really stuck with me when I saw that. So that's me. And I guess Sharon did get off because she didn't respond. She's still showing up. Maybe she doesn't realize her camera's still on. Okay, anything else? I know it was a lot. I know it was an awful lot. Anything else? Questions, thoughts, comments? So next Tuesday would be the first Tuesday of the month, which is usually for our entire team. And let's go ahead and plan to do that again. If the information, those slides and the training information is up for all demonstrators regarding the new rewards program, and especially the ordering, the customer ordering, that's the biggie. We will go over that, but I also think we just need to have some fun. So we'll do some kind of, I don't know, technique demonstration or something. Is there something somebody wants to share or something somebody wants to see?
Now, is that a Zoom, Mary?
Yes.
And it's next Tuesday, but who is that for? Everyone?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Yep. So maybe I'll just plan something. And we went way long. I like to keep these an hour or less, and I'm fading, and I see some of you are too. And Kathy, we introduced you before you got on, because I thought she's probably going to be here, but anything you want to share about yourself or Stampin' Up or?
Can I just talk? I don't know how to
Yes.
be able to. Oh, okay. See, I
Yep,
didn't
you
know
can
that.
just
That's
talk.
why I'm sitting here quiet. I just like to say about the new catalog. I'm really excited about all of the scrapbooking, the new scrapbooking kits. I think the prices are very reasonable. I'm looking at it as a chance to show my customers, and some of them are scrapbookers, but to show my customers that they're versatile, you know, in that they contain stamp sets, and the stamp sets can be used for cards, you know, all the pieces and parts in the kit can be used for cards as well. And maybe producing some new scrapbookers, or I don't know. I'm just kind of excited about that.
I am too, and I'm trying to figure out how am I going to make that a part of my business, like
Mhm.
an intentional part of my business. And I still haven't figured that out. I was hoping that would be clearer to me after on stage, but it's not really.
I think, Mary, I think it's going to take another catalog or so before before the two meld together.
Yeah.
It's still going to be us and them for a little while,
Mhm.
but I think it's getting better. I've done very little scrapbooking.
Yeah.
But the products that they have, I mean, they can certainly lend themselves to card making, that's for
But
sure.
I think absolutely, but I think it's, not just talking about them, but getting in front of
Yeah.
them. Like I
Yeah.
need to be
Mhm.
intentional about showing it in a Facebook Live or offering
Yeah.
some kind of event, whether it be in person or virtual. And I'm
Catherine,
happy
what
to
part of the country are
collaborate
you
with
from, Catherine?
anybody on that too.
Northeast Ohio.
Another Ohio.
Yeah.
I grew up in Massachusetts though.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm looking for other New Englanders to be part of my crew.
We could take a road trip.
I'll tell you, it's pretty decent up here right now. It actually is starting to look like spring.
Oh,
Although
good.
we had snow
Good.
yesterday. Ah,
Good. Okay. Anything else? Nope. Okay. I'm ready to call it a day. Jenny, tell me again when your event is. April
5th.
April
April
5th.
5th, Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday. And I'm not expecting a whole lot. It's at our little local community center, and we have like 4,000 people in our town, and
Mhm.
so who knows? But
You don't know, but sometimes,
you don't know.
You might, even if it's a small crowd, you might get that one person
Mm-hmm.
who's interested and turns into a great longtime customer. Or
Yep. So I'm making a few Easter things, a Mother's Day little gift box with some chocolates in it, and I have some coastal cards with turtles and the ocean friends, and hopefully they'll like that because we live by the coast. So
yeah.
we'll see.
And just have, maybe be prepared to take their contact information because you're great at talking to people and meeting people and all that. I'm sure that'll come easily for you, but have that. And then maybe, I don't know if you have business cards or not, but you could also just make something and print it out.
I do.
To give them.
I do.
And
I have these. Oh, camera's up here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, cute with the palm tree.
Yeah. So
cute. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we'll see.
Do you have a class planned for next
I
month?
do. I do. It's the Happy Hibiscus.
Oh, so maybe
and so I'll have the cards displayed and the date of the class and all the information.
You've got it all ready.
Good
It's
job.
Just let us know how it goes. I'll be
will.
thinking about you that day.
I will. I'm using some retired product though to make the stuff, but
that's
it's
okay.
little gifts
That's
and
okay.
get little favor things, because I don't have new Easter. They didn't have a lot this time.
They didn't
so
really this year.
not really. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, good luck and let us know how it goes. All
I
right.
will. Those
Good
are my
night,
carrots.
everybody. Thanks for hanging in with me.
Bye. Thank you for all the info.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.